Okay, let's be honest. We've all been there, right? Trapped in some mandatory e-learning course that just feels like a colossal waste of time. Well, today, we're going to look at a way to fix that. We're diving into a powerful manifesto that promises to help us stop building boring e-learning and start creating experiences that actually change things.
And you know what? He's not wrong, is he? This quote just hits so close to home. It's for anyone who's ever had to mindlessly click next through a soul-crushing module. It's like he's speaking directly to that frustration, reminding us that there's a real cost to bad design. Wasted time, wasted money, and absolutely zero impact.
So this is the million-dollar question. If we all know how painful bad e-learning is, whether we're making it or taking it, why on earth does this cycle keep repeating? Why do we keep pumping out stuff that just completely misses the mark? Well, the answer? It's probably not what you think. So let's get into the diagnosis. And here's the surprising part. It's not always because of a lack of effort or a tiny budget. Actually, a lot of the worst e-learning is built by people who are diligently, carefully following what they think are the rules of good design. To really get this, the source material gives us this character, this archetype, named Ichiro. Now, Ichiro means, well, he really does. He's methodical. He follows the process to a T. He's convinced he's doing everything by the book. But here's the problem. His eyes are on the checklist, not on the learner.
Now, take a look at Ichiro's rules. On the surface, they seem totally logical, right? Of course you should identify what people need to know. Immediate feedback sounds great, but, and this is a huge but, look at the hidden flaws. The focus is always on information, not on action. The goal becomes what people know, not what they can do. And that's the trap that leads to these passive, boring info dumps. People might pass a test at the end, sure, but does it change how they do their job on Monday morning? Nope, not a bit.
So if Ichiro's way is the problem, what's the solution? Well, it all starts with a huge shift in how we think. We need to move away from just delivering a course and start thinking about how we can actually help people change their behavior. And to do that, we can borrow a really powerful idea from psychology.
This is a big one. It's called the Stages of Change model. And get this, it was first developed to help people with really deep entrenched habits, like quitting smoking, so you know it's powerful stuff. The key takeaway is that real change isn't like flipping a switch. It's a journey, a process with some very distinct stages.
And here is that journey. Now, this right here is where most e-learning gets it completely fundamentally wrong. It just assumes everybody is showing up at stage 4, action, all fired up and ready to learn. But the reality? Most people are way back at the beginning, at pre-contemplation. They might not even think there's a problem to solve. Or maybe they're in contemplation, where they know there's an issue but they're not quite committed to fixing it. Our job is to meet them where they actually are.
So if learning really is a journey, then our job as designers gets a whole lot bigger than just building the course. We have to think about the entire experience, which really breaks down into 3 key phases.
Before anyone even clicks a link, there's the pre-instruction phase. And seriously, you have to think of this like you're a marketer. Your job is to create buzz, to build desire. You're showing people what's in it for me and getting them genuinely excited and ready to learn. You're moving them along that journey we just talked about.
Then we get to phase 2, instruction. This is the part we usually call the course. But here's the critical difference. It's not an information dump. It's got to be a practice field, a simulator, a safe space for people to try new things, to mess up without real-world consequences, and to actually build real skill and confidence.
And finally, phase 3, performance. Honestly, this might be the most important and the most ignored part of the whole process. Learning doesn't magically stick just because someone finished a module. Without a support system back on the job, things like job aids, mentors, coaching, rewards, all those new skills just fade away, and all that effort was for nothing.
Okay, so let's zoom in on that middle phase, the instruction itself. How do we make sure it's actually effective and, not boring? Well, it all comes down to a really simple and powerful framework, the 3 M's.
First up, is it meaningful? This is non-negotiable. Can the person taking your course immediately see how this helps them with their problems, their job, their goals? Because if that connection isn't crystal clear from the get-go, you've already lost them. They have to see the point.
Next, is it memorable? Let's face it, our brains are terrible at remembering boring lists of facts. But stories, emotions, a tough challenge that we actually had to struggle with and overcome, that's the stuff that sticks. We remember what we do, not just what we read on a screen.
And the third M, this one's the magic ingredient. Is it motivational? You want people to want to keep going.
Great learning design isn't a chore. It taps into our natural curiosity. It creates a sense of discovery and growing competence. It makes people feel smart, powerful, and successful.
So let's bring this all home. What does this all add up to? It means we have to stop thinking of ourselves as course builders. That's the old way. We need to start seeing ourselves as experience architects. It's a total shift in perspective. And this chart right here, it says everything. Look at the left column. That's the old world. Course completions, test scores, it's all just checking the box. It's fool's gold. It feels like you're accomplishing something, but you're not. The new goal is on the right. It's about real, tangible performance improvement. It is not about what somebody knows, it's about what they can now do. That's the only metric that matters.
So I'll leave you with this one simple question to ask yourself on your very next project. Are you just building another course to be completed, another box to be checked, or are you architecting a genuine experience before, during, and after that is meaningful, memorable, and motivational enough to truly change what people are capable of doing? Because that answer makes all the difference.